sorted out, and then we're good to go. So we've got welcome everybody, bienvenidos. We've got quite a busy day today. I'm going to do this little memory jogging exercise because I know that you know all of these things, but I know that you just forget them, and it's easy to forget. It's staggering how much Spanish I've learned, but amazing how much I've forgotten. So a little memory jogger. Don't stress about it. It's just for fun. So we're going to do that. We're then going to look at some verbs, some regular verbs in Spanish. And we're going to ask what people like doing, how to ask what you like doing in Spanish. And we have a little section on the word ya. It's one of the smallest words in the Spanish language, but it's used an awful lot, particularly in Latin America, but also in Spain. It's useful to know the different meanings and how it's used. So, ¿estás listos? Let's get going. Empecemos. So, puedes decir. We have to, unfortunately for this, we have to pick some victims. So everybody's ducking down out of the way. So, puedes decir los días de la semana y los meses del año. This is an easy one for everybody, I think.
Can I just ask one question before we get going, Eric?
You can.
I managed to get, well, me and the missus managed to get most of them. The only one which we couldn't work out was number 18, which was Cinco Marcadores de Frecuencia.
Yeah.
Come up as frequency markers.
You've done the whole lot. You've gone through everything.
Well, the weather wasn't very good.
Okay. I was only going to do 3 a week.
Oh, right. Sorry. I misunderstood you.
I wasn't expecting you to do them all.
Oh,
well, good.
I've done them anyway.
No. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in due course. We're going to do the easy stuff first. I'm not sure they get that harder, but
they do.
Do they? Yeah, probably they do. I don't know. I've not done them all. Looked at some.
Fair enough.
So let's get going. Leslie, how are you on the days of the week? Leslie Adolphson.
Oh, better than the months of the year.
Yeah, go on then. Give us the days of the week.
Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo.
Domingo, well done.
Domingo, yeah, I had a student called Domingo.
Did you?
Yeah, that's why I said. Yeah, I was thinking of him. Yeah, Domingo.
Yeah. Now I've written them down here, but of course, if you're writing them, unless they're used at the start of a sentence, you wouldn't use a capital letter for the days of the week. So don't forget, all of the days of the week are masculine, and we never have a capital letter for the days of the week. And just 2 days have accents. That's miércoles, just to stress the first syllable, and sábado, again, to stress the first syllable. Your pronunciation was excellent, Leslie, so well done with that. So we have the months of the year. Now, Lorraine was telling us summer's going to start in
November.
Junio, is it, Lorraine? How are you on the other months? How are you on the other months? Start wherever you like.
January, I think. Enero, Febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre.
Sí, muy bien. Octubre.
Octubre.
Yeah. And when you've got, you said abril. Don't forget abril. It's the E. A, E, O, U is the vowel sounds. Just get the vowel. You'd definitely be understood. Perfectly good. I'm being a bit picky this morning. I don't know. Maybe I got it out of bed the wrong side or something like that. Well done, Lorraine. Okay, there they are. And again, they don't use capital letters for the months of the year, just like the days of the week. And a lot of these are cognates, so they're pretty easy. Febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio. They're all pretty similar to what we say, especially when you get to septiembre, noviembre, diciembre. That one always catches me out. I always want to, when I'm spelling it, I always want to put an E instead of an E. Diciembre. Muy bien. Ok, puedes decir lo contrario de los cuatro palabras. What are the opposites here? Jane, I think we did this in the afternoon class, didn't we, a week or so ago?
Yeah, but I wasn't in it, I don't think. I think I was bowling.
Oh, weren't you? Oh, well, that's. I thought you got an advantage, but you didn't. What's it?
Feo bonito.
Muy bien.
Castaño rubio.
Rubio is good, yeah.
Alto baja. And gordo delgado.
Oh yeah, well done, excellent. That's pretty much bang on. I've done a few alternatives here. Feo, of course, means ugly. Hermoso or bonito means nice, good looking, handsome, beautiful. Castaño can mean a chestnut as a noun. As an adjective, it means dark-haired. Rubio is the obvious alternative to that. Alto bajo. So in English, alto can mean high or tall, and bajo, low or short. Corto is also short, but it's used for things like, used for articles like a skirt. You can have a short skirt, una falda corta, or a short film, or a short journey. It's not used for a short person. In some instances, it could be good. It's the opposite of long, I guess, really. You know, high and low, long and short. And gordo, chubby, chunky, fat. Delgado is slim. Well done. Apple. Puedes decir lo contrario de extrovertido, nervioso, triste, trabajador y mayo.
Extrovertido y tímido.
Bien.
Nervioso y not sure on that one. Triste y alegre, trabajador y perezoso.
Muy bien.
Majo y desagradable.
Yeah, see. That would work. Extrovertido obviously means outgoing, so timido is an option. There is an adjective, introvertido, which is introvert, extrovert. So that could work quite well. But I suppose extrovertido in Spanish could mean extrovert, but it's more usually applied to be somebody who's outgoing or fun. So a shy person rather than an outgoing person. Nervioso, tranquilo, relajado is another one. So relaxed or chilled. Triste, sad. You could be feliz, contento, alegre. All of those work well. Trabajador, perezoso is a good one. Alternatively, flojo, vago, holgazan also works.
Trabajador mean?
Hardworking, yeah, hardworking. So the opposite is sort of lazy, which is perezoso.
I thought it meant worker. I don't know why.
Well, yeah. Well, it's somebody.
Player is the opposite.
You put what? Sorry.
Player.
How are you spelling that?
Oh no. As I put. Jugador.
Jugador.
Yeah.
Somebody who plays.
Yeah. I thought that meant someone who works, so I put someone who plays.
Yeah, well, I suppose. Yeah, no. Well, good thinking.
Didn't mean that.
Yeah, no, good thinking. Well, it does mean a worker, but it's somebody who's hardworking, really. Somebody who's always busy doing things. So
right.
Yeah, a worker in that sense, rather than somebody who just spends his time playing. The word majo is nice, pleasant, good looking. So feo works for that. There's a word called feísimo, which means very ugly. I never remember that. I never call anybody very ugly, so I wouldn't bother remembering that. Majo can also be used as a noun as well as an adjective. So in that case, if it's your sweetheart, you can call him majo or maja if it's a lady, and it can also mean mate or buddy. So you could say hola majo if you wanted to. It's a sort of colloquial use of the word. Well done. Brilliantly done to those who went all the way down the list. I'm staggered at your staying power. I'd have said, Rick Rainer giving us all this homework. He can go and sing. So we will get through those. Paul, don't forget them before you get to the end.
No. I wrote them all down.
Okay. Okay, los verbos regulares. So I think there are many challenging things about learning Spanish. For me, one of them was and continues to be, if I'm perfectly honest, verb conjugation. For regular verbs, it's pretty easy. You just have to remember the verb endings, which sometimes is easier said than done. But for irregular verbs, obviously, you have to learn the verb. Fortunately, I guess a lot of the irregular verbs are verbs that we use a lot. So we tend to use them, therefore we tend to remember them. And that's the key to getting your Spanish improving, is to use it lots and lots. So if you are lucky enough to get on holiday in Spain this year to visit the country, then take every opportunity to speak Spanish. It's the best way to learn. So all Spanish verbs end in either IR, ER, or AR. And we've got specific endings for each of those regular verbs. So let's just take a look at those. How well can you remember them? So, Amanda, can you remember the conjugations for IR verbs? Let's look at vivir, and can you tell us how that would conjugate through in the present indicative? I think you're still on mute, Amanda, actually. So that's it, much better. How do you feel about vivir?
Vivo.
Mm-hmm.
To vive. So vives.
Vives, muy bien.
Usted vive.
Vive, yeah.
Nosotros vivos. Vosotros viváis. And ellos viven.
Vivo. Vives. Vive. Nosotros is
Vivimos.
Vivos or vivomos.
Vivimos, yeah.
Viváis.
Vivis.
Viven.
Yeah, they sometimes stick an A in, but not in IR verbs. And this one, then. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a few variations between them which throw you a bit. Helpfully, in some of the preterite and imperfect conjugations, which you'll learn later on if you stick with it that long, the endings are the same for ER and IR verbs, so that does save a lot of memory space. Excellent. So what about ER verbs? Paul, how do they conjugate?
Oh, here we go.
Go on.
Yo como, tu comes, él or ella usted come, nosotros comemos, vosotros coméis, EIS, and ellos, ellas, ustedes comen.
Come. Very good. Well done. Perfect. Coméis. Just a bit of a stress on that
Yeah.
in there. Coméis. When we're conjugating verbs, we get a lot of vowels together, and I find it quite difficult to get my tongue around them sometimes. But the trick is just to find it and say it again and again. Break it down, say it slowly, and try and get the stress right. It is a tough one then. It is a tough one though. Sometimes I've been saying a word, and my daughter-in-law will say it back to me, and I'll say it again. She'll say it back to me, and it just seems impossible to get exactly that right stress to satisfy a Spaniard. But I think she's seeking perfection, and she's never going to get it from me. And what we really want to do is be understood in Spain. They're going to work out that we're English, so never try to impersonate a Spaniard. And as long as we're understood, I think at our stage of Spanish, that's a real achievement. That's all we want to do. We want to be able to find our way around, order a beer, ask for different things, and have a bit of a conversation with folk. And that's great. So, you know, if you get commis instead of commis, they're going to maybe be a bit puzzled, but I should think they'll pick it up. That's don't beat yourselves up over these. They are difficult to remember. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we've done IR, we've done ER, so we've got AR. Hablar is a regular AR verb, and who's next on the list of victims? Well, it's Giselle actually. So Giselle, hablar. The first one's always easy, isn't it?
So, yo hablo, tú hablas, ella, usted habla, vosotros hablamos, vosotros habláis, ellos, ellas, ustedes hablan.
Hablan. Habláis, yeah, habláis. With present tense verbs, we tend to push through the verb. So hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos. It's a subtlety of language, and I might not be getting it quite right, but that's what we ought to be aiming for. Well done, everybody. So everybody can conjugate. Well, at least we know that the past three can conjugate. Amanda, Paul, and Giselle can conjugate verbs. The rest of us are untested as yet. You will forget the odd one. Don't worry too much about it. If you can't think of the conjugation, use the infinitive. Not in class, but in Spain, if you get stuck, just use the infinitive. You can make yourself known in all kinds of interesting ways. So the regular verbs are pretty easy. It is a slog, and it's a memory test, but we can do it. Just memorize those verb endings. For irregular verbs, it's a well, I don't know what it is. It's a free for all. It's a free for all, and some of them are completely crazy. So poner isn't far off being a regular ER verb. The Spanish just don't like to say pone. They like pono. So they stick a G in it, pongo. And there's quite a lot of verbs that do this. Tener is another one, where you say tengo. So there's quite a few of those that follow this pattern. Poner is another one. So pongo, and then it gets regular. Seguir. Don't forget it's seguir, not seguir. Seguir. The G is hardened by the U, but the U isn't pronounced. So seguir. We have sigo. So because there's an O after the G, it's a hard G anyway, so there's no need for the U. So it's just sigo. Sigues, sigue, seguimos, seguís, siguen. There, I suppose there, these very short words, these very short verbs, such as here, there, are all irregular because, well, you know, you drop the ending off there, and you're just left with the. So, but so it's tricky. So, if you think of it as like that, it's a fairly regular verb. Veo, ves, ve, vemos, veis, and then. Ear. Ear is one of the most irregular of the lot, but because we use it a lot, we should be able to remember it. How do people find ear? Can most of you remember that quite well? I should think you do, actually. Yeah. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, and van. And because we started using ear to create the future tense, I am going to do something. Voy a comprar. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to buy. It's used a lot more, so we should get that in our heads. Now, I'm going to try and build up this list of irregular present tense verb conjugations, and we'll try to cover the most common ones. We'll aim for about a dozen, I think. Any more than that, and it's impossible to remember them. So let's gradually build this up. We've got 4 here. Try to spend some time looking at those and learning them in the coming weeks, and I think we'll gradually get to get them into our heads. Yeah. How do you find verb conjugations? A lot of you have done this class for a couple of years. This is your second time for some. It's the third time for some. First time for others. So I know you're all at different levels, and your exposure's been slightly different. Are there particular issues you find with verb conjugations? Anybody, or is it just a memory thing? Yeah, just keep memory. There's nothing to do but just keep flogging away at them. You can always get your Barron's 501 Spanish verbs, which I used to wave around in class quite a lot. That's a good book to dip into.
What was that, Eric? Sorry, I missed that.
It's cool. Let me get it for you. It's called Barron's 501 Spanish Verbs, and it's a great book. It's useful for dropping on spiders if you hate spiders. It's handy for reading in bed, and you could even use it as a pillow if you get tired. So Barron's 501 Spanish Verbs. It's a thick book, but I think it only costs about $16 according to this, but I didn't pay that for it. I paid about £8 or £9 in a bookshop, but it is available in lots and lots of places. So don't pay $16 for it. Okay, we'll keep practicing those because that's the best way to learn it, and we'll have little verb tests on a regular basis and see if we can improve our practice of conjugation. Okay, we're going to move on to the next subject. ¿Qué te gusta hacer? What does that mean? ¿Qué te gusta hacer? What do you like to do? Yeah, what do you like to do? So we could say, for example, ¿Qué te gusta hacer los domingos? What do you like to do on Sundays? So that question is in the informal. if we're going to pose it in the formal, if we're asking our boss what he likes to do or she likes to do on Sundays, how would you say it then? What would the difference be?
Le gusta.
Le. Que te le, I was going to say. Que le gusta hacer los domingos? What do you like doing? That's the only difference. That's so we don't have to conjugate gustar, because do you remember the construction of the sentence say is it pleases you. So what does it please you to do on Sundays? So the only conjugations for gustar that we need in this sentence construction is gusta. If it's one thing that you like to do, if it's a lot of things that please you, so if you like apples, for instance, me gustan las manzanas. So remember, if it's a plural thing that you like, it's gustan. If it's singular, it's gusta. And if it's a lot of activities, so maybe you like swimming, walking, running, it's still gusta, because you're giving a list of single items in the singular. So we've used gusta quite a bit. Me gusta, me gustan. We've done. No me, if you don't like something, no me gustan, no me gustan. And I think we also covered off the conditional form. I would like, in which case it's me gustaría, I would like, it would please me. And if it's plural, me gustarían. So if somebody says, ¿qué te gusta hacer los domingos? You can answer, me gusta. I like to, whatever it is to do. I always like to have a few little phrases to slow up the conversation in Spanish, just to give myself some thinking time. You can always say pues, which means well, or bueno, which also means well. And another useful one is déjame pensar, which means let me think. Give me time to think. And you can go quiet for 30 seconds while you think of the right conjugation or the right verb. It's really handy for buying yourself a bit of time without standing there with a panicked look on your face. So it convinces people that you know what you're doing. So if you ever hear me say, déjame pensar, you know I've forgotten the word and I'm desperately trying to think of it. So possible answers. Me gusta descansar. I like to rest on Sundays. Me gusta estar con mis amigos. I like to be with my friends. If you really like doing something, you like doing something a lot, you can use the verb. You can use the word mucho. So me gusta mucho. Me gusta mucho ir al parque. I like going to the park very much. The Spanish love their superlatives, so you can sit them in wherever in a Spanish sentence. I think they love it. Me gusta mucho. If you love to do something, instead of using the verb gustar, you can use the verb encantar, which means to love to do. And it works in exactly the same way as gustar. So, me encanta. Me encanta ir al cine. I love going to the cinema. Again, you probably wouldn't say, no me encanta, I don't love going to the cinema. You just say I don't like. But if you want to emphasize something that you like doing, then encantar rather than gustar is a good way to do it. If you don't like something, no me gusta. No me gusta ir al cine. I don't like going to the cinema. Prefiero ver las películas en la televisión. I prefer to watch films on the TV. That's pretty much all we've been doing for the last year, isn't it? To add extra emphasis, if you don't like something, so you can say, me gusta mucho. If you really don't like something, you can say, no me gusta nada. So here are some things that you might enjoy doing. How many of these can we recognize? Karen, how many of these can you recognize? It's quite a long list.
Leah, to read, cocinar,
yeah.
Cocinar to cook,
Yep.
nada to swim,
Well done.
pasear to walk,
Yeah.
ir al gimnasio, to go to the gym.
Yeah, so say gimnasio.
Gimnasio.
Yeah, well done.
Ejercitar, exercise.
Ejercitar, see? I can never say that word. And the other word I can never say is exercise. Ejercicio. I can never get those right to anybody's satisfaction. So ejercitar is to exercise.
Uga, football, play football, tennis, golf, rugby, and basketball.
Yeah.
Toca la guitarra, piano, violin, and flauta. The guitar, play the guitar, piano, violin, and flute. Pintar, to paint.
Sí.
Pasar tiempo en el jardín. Jardín. Spend time in the garden, or estar en el jardín, to be in the garden.
Yeah.
Conversar con amigos, speaking with friends. Encontrarse con los amigos. I'm not sure what's that. Meeting with friends?
To me, yeah.
Meeting with friends. Hornear pasteles, to bake cakes. Ir de compras, to go shopping.
Yeah.
And ver películas, to see films. Escribir, to write. Ir al bar, go to the bar, theatre or cinema. And correr, to walk.
To run.
Correr, to walk.
Pasear is to walk, to take a walk. Pasear, to take a walk. Caminar is another verb to walk, and andar is another verb to walk. They have a lot of verbs for walking. I guess we do as well. We can stroll, we can walk, we can amble. So we're just the same. Note that if you can play a sport in England, or you can play a musical instrument. In Spanish, jugar, you play a sport, jugar football. But if you're going to play musical instruments, you don't jugar it, you tocar. So tocar means to touch. So tocar la guitarra, piano, violin, flauta. So I thought it was quite a, I've always thought it's quite a nice way to describe playing a musical instrument, because you do have to touch it, and sort of it has to become part of you, doesn't it, to work. So you definitely touch a guitar and a violin and a piano. A flute, you don't blow through it, but you do touch it as well, of course. So tocar for a musical instrument, jugar for any kind of sport. So what have we missed? Have we missed any of that? Anything there that we should have had on? Can anybody think of something they like doing that's not on my list? It's always good to expand my list for future years. Like to cover off all the nice things that we can. Have I covered off everything that you like doing?
Estudio idiomas.
Oh yeah. Estudia idiomas.
No me gusta estudio idiomas.
Well, you keep turning up, Carl. So I can't believe that you think that. And you're not just learning one language. You're learning, well, you're learning two that I know of. So
two's enough.
Two's enough. Yeah.
You haven't put my favourite activity on there, which is jugar al tenis.
Tennis, yeah.
Oh, you have got tennis.
Tennis,
oh, yes,
it's the second one there.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what bowls is for Jane. I wouldn't have a clue what bowl. Probably best not to mention bowls to a Spaniard, because it's got the old Francis Drake.
How about como e bibo?
Comer y beber. See? Yeah. That's a good one.
According to the dictionary, it's Los Bolos.
Bolos.
B-O-L-O-S.
B-O-L-O-S. O-S. Bolos. Bolos. Los Bolos. I wonder if it's the same as ours.
It could, though. It says masculine plural, so I think it could be as a bowl rather than as a sport.
Yeah.
Although it says to go bowling, a los bolos.
Yeah. Jane, have you ever seen a bowling green on your travels in Spain? Never.
No.
It's too dry. It's too dry
Too
where
hot. They won't be able to grow the grass.
No. They have that really coarse grass in some parts of Spain, don't they?
They're more likely to do pétanque, aren't they? Rather than roll it on the ground, you flick it in the air.
Boule pétanque. Yeah. Good. Okay, so lots of things there that we enjoy doing, and we'll add bowls, and we'll add eating and drinking to the list as well. And some things that you may not enjoy. Tareas de la casa, or tareas domésticos, housework. What else might we not like doing? Planchando la ropa, ironing clothes. I never mind ironing clothes. Not that I do it very often. I have a nice. Well, if I'm honest, and I've got to be honest here, my wife does the ironing, because she says she does a much better job of it than I do. I apparently I miss bits, and also it annoys her that when I iron my shirts, I hang them on hangers rather than fold them up, so they take up all the space in the wardrobe. So she tends to do the ironing, but we don't iron a great deal really, and particularly in the winter, when I always have a jumper on over my shirt. So it's only this bit that you see. It's not worth ironing the rest, is it? Planchando la ropa, Limpiar la casa. Lavar la ropa. To wash clothes. Lavando los platos. Doing the dishes. Anything that we've missed out there? What else do we dislike doing? Anything that we've missed out? You're a very, very happy lot. You don't mind doing these things.
Just a small point, Eric, which came up on a video I was watching, just for people who might not know. If you're invited out to a Spaniards for evening meal or something, don't offer to do the washing up. It's considered not the right thing to do, which I find really strange.
Yeah, I never offer to help with the washing up if I go to visit a friend here, to be honest, to the UK. So if anybody invites me around, don't expect me to do the washing up. We have dishwashers, don't we, for that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's called a wife.
Ooh.
This is all going to slap me for that.
Oh, I don't know. Who doesn't have a dishwasher? Does anybody not have a dishwasher? No, I knew we'd all have one. Who doesn't?
No.
You don't have one, Paul.
I would do, but I've got no room in the kitchen for it.
Right.
It just hasn't got the space.
Yeah.
Don't believe it. You can always find room, Paul.
If you can find room in my kitchen, you're more than welcome.
Have you got a washing machine?
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, I think the missus might have something to say on that.
She can hand wash. It's fine.
Oh, I don't think so.
We had a debate for years about should we have a dishwasher or not, and we didn't. But then we came about, I don't know, 20 years ago to change the kitchen around, get a new kitchen in, and we said, oh well, we might as well. And gosh, the first time I took the cups out after they'd been in the dishwasher, all the tea stains that I'd worked hard to get rid of with vim and everything, they looked like new. So I thought, my goodness me, why didn't I get one of these years ago? So yeah, we've had one ever since. Yeah, we have. So I wouldn't be without my lavaplato. So let's have a little practice then. Now, in class, we had these. We had one person ask another, and then answer, and then ask the next person along. I don't think that's really practical here. So let me pick some of the some victims that have previously missed out, and so we've got Caroline Ingram. ¿Qué te gusta hacer por las noches? What do you like to do in the evening?
I was going to answer to every single one. Me gusta jugar al tenis.
Well, it's quite light in the evenings now, isn't it?
It is. Me gusta ver películas.
Sí, muy bien. Who else has? No, almost everybody's gone. Where's Carl? Carl's hiding somewhere. There he is. Yes. Carl, ¿qué te gusta hacer en vacaciones? You're still on mute, Carl. I know I can't see the lips moving, but you're still on mute anyway. Déjame pensar.
Déjame pensar.
Déjame pensar.
I've got 10 minutes to think about this. Then we get automatically cut off. I really do think. Voy a otros
Me gusta. Let me say me gusta. Let's use this.
Me gusta. Boy.
You don't need to conjugate it. So the beauty of saying me gusta.
To go. So we go here.
Yeah. See.
Me gusta ir otros países.
Otros países. Sí.
Países.
You like going to other countries. Good. Excellent. Okay. We could also say what other people like or don't like to do. So, me gusta ir al teatro. I like to go to the theatre, but you could say, you might want to say that he or she likes to go to the theatre, and that is le gusta. But le gusta could be he or she. Now, it might be obvious who we're speaking about. We may already have had the question. A María que le gusta hacer los domingos, and you may say le gusta ir al teatro. What does Maria like to do on Sundays? She likes to go to the theatre, but it may not be obvious, and in that case you just want to qualify it with a ella or a él. So a ella le gusta ir al teatro. She likes to go to the theatre. But if it's obvious in context, no need to say it, no need to worry about it. And you can also use that sentence construction to make a comparison, to be more emphatic about what you like to do. So, a mí me gusta leer, pero a él no le gusta. I like to read, but he doesn't like to read at all. Yeah, so you're making a comparison. A Juan le gusta quedarse en la cama. Juan likes to lie in bed. A María y a Tere les gusta ir al parque. So we've got two people there. So we have to say, we need the pronoun for they, which is les gusta. But we don't need to say gustan, because it's the thing that pleases them that determines whether we use gustan or gusta, not how many people like it. So going to the park pleases Maria and Terry. That's what we need. That's how we need to think about it. Okay. Any questions about gusta? We've used we've used gusta an awful lot, and it's a really useful little phrase and construction to say what we like or what we don't like. And you can use it to order food or drink. You can use it to say what you like to do and what you don't like to do. So it's really, really handy. Any questions on that? Good. So just to finish off, how are we doing on time?
5 minutos.
5 minutos, see. So how do we, the word ya, now if we read anything in Spanish, you're bound to come across the word ya. It's used an awful lot, and it's one of those Spanish words that are a little bit annoying because it can mean a number of different things, and we have to just be aware of them. So ya is one that is used quite creatively as well, particularly in Latin America, and it's used a lot more in Latin America than it is in Spanish. So it generally means now or already. Remember those two uses, and anything else will be vaguely related, I suspect. So I used to say to my dog, I don't speak Spanish to my dog very much now. It's not that she doesn't enjoy her Spanish lessons, just that she's 14. She's pretty much gone deaf. So I could be speaking Russian to her, and she spends most of her time sleeping in a basket. There's not a lot of point speaking. But I used to say, Benaka, come here. And if she doesn't respond, you could say, yeah, Benaka, come here now. So you can use it in that sense. So it also pops up in common expressions such as ya voy, I'm going now, is a common one. Ya vengo, I'm coming now. Ya voy en camino, I'm on my way. Ya voy para allá, I'm going there. If you want to just inject some urgency or explain to somebody that you're doing it right now, and maybe there's an element of, yes, I'm coming. It's an element of exasperation in there with yeah. So yeah, vengo, I'm coming now. So that's worth doing. So you hear a lot of people say venga, venga, which means come on. And I hear my daughter-in-law say it a lot to the children when they need chipping along. She's pretty patient, Lucy, but occasionally they have to be somewhere in a certain time, and venga, venga, come on, is used. And if you want to say ya venga, means that's a stage up. It's upping the ante. It means come on now, get going. It's a useful one to remember. So it suggests some urgency, a hurry up to Spanish ears, and in some parts of Spain, it might, certain uses in Spain, it might be considered impolite. Use it sparingly. Be sure that you need a hurry up, otherwise you might. It's not the sort of thing you want to say to the taxi driver, maybe, or something like that, or the waiter. You may be kept waiting even longer for your bill. So if you don't want to appear strident in Spanish, in Spain, you can use ahora, so which also means now. And to get something done quickly, it's Spanish is a strange language. We often think people are being rude in Spanish, and they're not. There's little nuances of the language which imply politeness or playfulness that we don't have in English quite the same. And the diminutive form is one way of doing that. So adding ito at the end of a word means little. So ahorita means, ahora means now, ahorita means a little now. Now we wouldn't have that subtlety in English, but in Spanish it's a way of saying now, but now politely. So, you know, I want the bill now. Ahora seems just a little rude, but ahorita should get you a smile. and the bill. You can also say ahora mismo if you want to. If you want to be not rude, but you sort of emphasize that you definitely want it now. Come on, you can use enseguida, and that sort of is seguir is to follow. So enseguida means in following, really, I suppose. But it's used to mean right now or immediately, and it's not particularly rude or strident, but it's a way of saying, yeah, we have to do it right now, and there's no arguing. So we need to leave right now. Vamos a irnos enseguida is one way of doing that. And note the use of ir there. I've used it reflexively. Irnos. So ir means to go, but there's also a use irse, which is reflexive. And when it's irse, it doesn't mean to go, it means to leave or to go out. So if you say me voy al teatro, I'm going out to the theatre is one way. You could say me gusta ir al teatro, I like to go to the theatre, but if you're actually going right now, you could say me voy al teatro, I'm going to the theatre. You're going out to the theatre. And there is a saying that you hear in Ecuador when people are, and I guess this is true of Latin America and maybe to Spain as well. If they're going out to have a good time, they're going out on the town, they say me voy a rumba, me voy a rumba. I'm going out to rumba, which is I did a very bad impression of a rumba dance there. But me voy a rumba means I'm going out on the town. So ir to go, irse to go out. Okay, any questions? Everybody still awake? We've not lost too many people during the course of the lesson. Nice to see everybody. Is there any questions? Everybody happy with that? I'll send around a little bit of homework later on, and I'll see you all next week. We've got one more lesson, and then we'll have a break of a week because it's the Whitsuntide holiday. So have a great week.
Okay, thanks very much.
I'll see you all next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Bye. Ciao a todos.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.